Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt a quiet voice inside whisper, "I can be more than this"? Maybe you didn't say it out loud, but you felt it. You knew something was missing. You smiled at people, went to work, scrolled through your phone, but deep inside, you were tired of your own excuses. You were tired of pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. Today, you are here because that voice inside you is still alive. It's small, but it's strong. It's saying, "Enough. I want to grow. I want peace. I want to become the best version of myself." That voice is not crazy. It's your truth calling you home. Let me tell you something simple but powerful. Your best version is not far away. It's not a different person. It's you without fear. You without the pain of the past. You without the noise of doubt. Becoming that person doesn't happen overnight. It's not magic. It's a slow, quiet decision repeated every single day. Becoming your best self is like cleaning a dusty mirror. The real you is already there, strong, kind, wise, but the dust of stress, fear, and comparison has covered the glass. Every day, you wipe a little dust away with one small action, one positive thought, one new habit, one moment of honesty. Slowly, you start to see yourself again. Today, we begin that journey together. And here's the promise of this story. You will not only learn how to grow, but you will also improve your English with every word. Because as you rebuild your life, you will rebuild your language too. Clear, calm, and confident English, the kind that reflects your new self. So let's start from the beginning, from the place most people avoid, the truth. The truth that your life will not change until you take responsibility for it. No one is coming to save you. Not luck, not motivation, not other people, only you. And that's not bad news. That's the best news you'll ever hear. Because if your life depends on you, it means your power depends on you too. Take a deep breath now. Feel your heart. This is where change begins. Not in a book, not in a video, but in this small decision. I will become the best version of myself, no matter how long it takes. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. When you finally stop blaming others and start looking at yourself, everything changes. It doesn't happen with noise. It happens in silence. That quiet moment when you realize your life is in your hands. Most people never reach that moment. They live like passengers, not drivers. They say, "I'm unlucky. My family didn't help me. The world is unfair." And yes, maybe it was. But still, the question remains, what will you do now? Taking responsibility is not about guilt. It's not about saying, "Everything is my fault." It's about understanding that everything in your life, your habits, your emotions, your direction, is your choice. Maybe not what happened to you, but definitely what you do next. That's where your freedom begins. Imagine your life as a car. If you always let others drive, society, family, fear, don't be surprised if you end up somewhere you don't like. But when you take the wheel, you can change the route. You might not know every turn yet, but at least now you're moving by your own decision. This step is harder than it sounds because it means facing truth. The truth that your laziness, your fear, your distractions, they're not monsters outside you. They live inside you. But here's the beauty. What lives inside you can be trained, shaped, rebuilt. You can become your own teacher. The best version of you starts with this mindset. No one owes me a better life. I owe it to myself. Say it again slowly in your mind, because that one belief will save you from waiting forever. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop saying, "I'll start when I have time." You start now with what you have. Every successful person you admire, the athlete, the entrepreneur, the artist, They all began from one decision: I will not wait. They learned, failed, adapted, and built themselves from zero. You can do the same. You don't need talent to begin. You need ownership. And once you take ownership, something powerful happens. Your energy changes. Instead of saying, I can't, you begin to ask, how can I? That small shift turns weakness into curiosity. Curiosity turns into learning. Learning turns into strength. That's how responsibility transforms you from a victim into a builder. But this transformation isn't about big speeches or sudden miracles. It's about quiet daily control. You wake up and say, I choose to move forward. You feel lazy, but still write one page. You feel scared, but still make the call. Every small decision is a vote for your new identity. Some days, you'll fail. That's normal. Responsibility doesn't mean perfection. It means you come back to yourself and say, yes, I fell, but it's my job to stand again. That's the voice of maturity. That's the foundation of real confidence. Not pretending to be strong, but knowing you can rebuild when you break. Responsibility isn't heavy. It's freedom in disguise. Because once you accept that your life is yours, nobody can control you again. You stop being a slave to moods, opinions, and excuses. You start becoming a creator. And that's the beginning of the best version of you. The version that doesn't wait for life to change, but changes life itself. Once you accept full responsibility for your life, the next question appears: how do I actually change? The answer is not luck, not motivation, not inspiration. The answer is discipline. Discipline is the invisible bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It is not a punishment. It is the highest form of self-respect. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it means living without joy. But real discipline is not about suffering. It's about direction. Without discipline, your energy leaks everywhere, into distractions, into emotions, into useless habits. With discipline, every drop of your energy moves toward your dream. It is focus turned into power. Think of your body. If you stop using a muscle, it becomes weak. But if you train it every day, it grows stronger. Discipline is the same. The first days are painful. You'll resist. You'll want to quit. Your brain will say, this is too much. But if you stay with it, something magical happens. What was hard becomes normal. What was normal becomes easy. What was impossible becomes automatic. Let's make this simple. You can train discipline the same way you train your body, with small daily repetitions. Every morning you wake up at the time you promised, even when you don't feel like it. Every day you finish the task you began, even if it's boring. Every evening you put away your phone instead of scrolling endlessly. These small actions are your gym. Every no to distraction is a yes to your power. Discipline does not appear from motivation. Motivation is like a spark, bright but short. Discipline is the fire that stays. You build it when you act without feelings. On days when you are tired, busy, sad, or uninspired, and still show up. That's where your real self is built. Because every time you do something hard when it's hard, your mind learns strength. Here's a simple truth. Your emotions are temporary, but your decisions are permanent. If you live by emotions, your life will be unstable. If you live by decisions, your life will be unstoppable. You can feel lazy and still move. You can feel scared and still act. That's the essence of discipline, to move even when the mood is gone. The greatest athletes, writers, and thinkers don't wait for perfect days. They build habits that carry them through imperfect ones. You don't see their daily battles, the moments they want to give up, the hours they sit in silence pushing through boredom. But those invisible hours are what create visible success. Discipline is invisible effort turning into visible transformation. Remember this. Comfort is not your friend. It whispers, you deserve rest. But what it really means is, stay the same. Discipline whispers something else. It says, you deserve better. Discipline is love in action, love for your future self. When you keep your promises, you're teaching your brain that you are trustworthy. And the moment you trust yourself, confidence begins to grow naturally. Start with one rule today. Do what you said you would do. Not more, not less. Every completed promise strengthens your inner structure. Soon, your mind will start to obey you. You'll notice something changing. Peace inside chaos, clarity inside pressure. That's discipline working quietly, shaping the new version of you, one decision at a time. Discipline gives you direction, but habits keep you moving. Habits are the quiet engines of transformation. They are small, almost invisible actions that shape everything about who you are. You may not notice them, but they decide the quality of your mind, your body, your success, and your peace. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. Think about it. Every morning, you do things automatically. Check your phone, brush your teeth, think certain thoughts. You don't choose them. They're just built into you. That's the power of habits. They can work for you or against you. Bad habits steal your time and energy silently. Good habits return it multiplied. The question is not whether you have habits. Everyone does. The real question is, are your habits helping you become your best self or keeping you stuck where you are? Change starts with awareness. You can't improve what you don't see. Begin by observing yourself without judgment. Notice what you repeat every day. What do you do first when you wake up? How do you react when you feel tired or bored? Where does your attention go when no one is watching? These moments reveal the hidden system running your life. The truth is, you don't need to destroy all your bad habits at once. You just need to replace one small negative loop with a positive one. For example, if you always start the day with your phone, replace it with 5 deep breaths or one sentence in English. If you always eat while scrolling, replace it with eating in silence for 2 minutes. If you always think, I'll do it later, replace it with one small action immediately. Tiny substitutions, repeated daily, become permanent identity shifts. Scientists call this habit stacking. It means connecting a new habit to something you already do. You brush your teeth, that's a cue. After that, repeat one affirmation. You make tea, that's a cue. While waiting, listen to a short English story. You close your laptop, that's a cue. Write one sentence about your day. Over time, your brain learns that one action naturally follows another, and soon it becomes effortless. Good habits build momentum, and momentum is power. When you start doing something consistently, even if it's small, your brain begins to trust your direction. It realizes, this is who we are now. That's how identity grows. Not through big promises, but through repeated proof. You don't just decide to become confident. You show your brain confidence through small daily victories until it believes you. Bad habits lose strength the same way. They die when you stop feeding them attention. Every time you say no to a distraction, its voice becomes weaker. Every time you say yes to a good habit, you will become stronger. Slowly, your mind begins to prefer the new path. That's not luck. That's neuroplasticity. Your brain literally rewiring itself to match your new lifestyle. The best version of you is not built in one grand transformation. It's built in thousands of small repetitions that nobody sees. The books you read when others watch TV. The thoughts you choose when no one can hear you. The choices you make when nobody claps. That's where your future is quietly being written. When you master habits, you no longer fight with yourself every day. Life stops feeling like a war between desire and discipline. It becomes a rhythm, smooth, simple, automatic. You stop trying to change and start being the change. And when that happens, transformation is no longer a goal. It becomes your nature. Your habits shape your actions, but your mindset shapes everything else. The way you think, speak, react, and recover. Mindset is not just what you believe about the world. It's what you believe about yourself. It's the invisible story you tell your brain every day. And here's the truth most people never realize. Your mind listens to you. Every word you say inside becomes a command. If you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your brain begins to search for proof. If you say, "I can't do this," your energy disappears before you even try. But if you whisper, "I'm learning," your brain becomes open, flexible, ready to grow. That's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset says, "I was born this way. I can't change." A growth mindset says, "I can learn anything if I stay consistent." This single difference decides everything: your success, your peace, your confidence, even your happiness. Because when you live with a fixed mindset, failure becomes a threat. Every mistake feels like proof that you're not enough. You hide, avoid challenges, and protect your ego instead of expanding your skill. But when you shift to a growth mindset, failure becomes feedback. It stops being a wall and becomes a teacher. Think of your brain like a garden. Your thoughts are seeds. Every time you repeat a thought, you water it. If you water fear, it grows. If you water courage, it grows. You cannot control the weather. The world will still bring storms. But you can control what grows inside your mind. Choose carefully which seeds you feed. When you face a challenge, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What can I learn from this?" That question alone will change your life. It moves you from victim to student, from helpless to powerful. Growth doesn't mean everything feels good. It means even when it feels bad, you still learn. Pain becomes information. Difficulty becomes training. Rejection becomes redirection. To build a growth mindset, practice mental awareness. Notice the small sentences you tell yourself when life gets hard. For example, "I always fail." Change to, "I'm still learning." "I can't do this." Change to, "I can't do this yet." "I'm so stupid." Change to, "I made a mistake, and that's how I grow." That small word yet can transform your self-image. It keeps the door open for improvement. It turns limits into beginnings. The goal isn't to lie to yourself, but to train your brain to see potential where it used to see endings. Remember, confidence doesn't mean believing you'll never fail. It means trusting yourself to handle failure when it comes. When you know you can fall and rise again, fear loses control. And when fear loses control, you move faster, think clearer, and become unstoppable. Your mindset decides how you experience life. Two people can face the same situation. One sees disaster, the other sees opportunity. The event is the same. The mindset is different. You can't always choose your circumstances, but you can always choose your interpretation. And your interpretation becomes your reality. When you begin to think like a builder, not a victim, your energy changes. You stop fighting against life and start working with it. You see problems as puzzles, not punishments. You begin to live with calm strength. That's when life starts to respond differently to you. Not because the world became easier, but because you became stronger inside. Mindset opens the door to growth, but self-belief gives you the courage to walk through it. Without belief, every opportunity looks dangerous. Without belief, Even your best ideas stay locked inside fear. And yet, belief is not something you are born with. It's something you build, one honest action at a time. Confidence is not loud. It doesn't shout or show off. Real confidence is quiet. It's the deep calm that says, I can handle this. It's built not from pretending to be strong, but from proving to yourself that you can survive hard moments. Every time you face fear and move forward anyway, you send a message to your mind. I can trust myself. That trust is the foundation of self-belief. Most people wait for proof from others. They want approval before they move. But true confidence doesn't come from other people clapping. It comes from you keeping promises to yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, even in silence, your brain records it. It starts to say, we are reliable. That's how belief grows. Think of confidence like a bank account. Every small success is a deposit. Waking up early, finishing a task, keeping a calm tone when you want to argue. These are all deposits of strength. Every broken promise, every moment of self-betrayal is a withdrawal. You can't expect to feel rich in confidence if you keep withdrawing more than you deposit. Build your balance daily. Protect it. But confidence doesn't mean never doubting yourself. It means not letting doubt control you. Even the strongest people feel insecure sometimes. The difference is, they don't stop. They act with fear, not after fear disappears. That's why courage matters more than comfort. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's movement despite it. You can begin building belief by changing the way you talk to yourself. When you fail, don't say, I'm useless. Say, I'm human, and I'm improving. When you succeed, don't say, it was just luck. Say, I earned that. Your words become your identity. Speak to yourself as someone you want to respect. You are listening, even when no one else is. Another way to grow self-belief is through evidence. Write down your wins, not just the big ones, but the small ones too. Finished a book? Wrote a paragraph? Controlled your anger? That's progress. Most people forget how far they've come because they only look at what's missing. But when you see your own trail of effort, your self-respect deepens. Avoid comparing your progress to others. Comparison kills confidence because it makes you measure your chapter 1 against someone's chapter 20. Your path is unique. You have your own timeline. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday. If you're improving even 1% each day, you're winning. And remember this, belief is not a gift, it's a skill. You practice it. You protect it. You rebuild it when it breaks. There will be days when your mind tells you, you're not enough. On those days, don't argue. Prove it wrong through action. Do one thing that your doubt says you can't. That's how you win, not through words, but through evidence. As your belief strengthens, everything else begins to align. Your posture changes. Your voice becomes steady. Your thoughts become kinder. You stop begging for validation and start creating your own. You begin to lead your life, not follow it. That's when you realize confidence isn't about being better than others. It's about being proud of who you're becoming. It's not arrogance, it's acceptance. The quiet kind that says, I'm not perfect, but I'm real. I'm growing. And that's enough. You can't become your best self while carrying the weight of who you used to be. Growth is not only about learning new skills. It's also about letting go of pain, guilt, shame, and all the versions of yourself that no longer serve you. Emotional healing doesn't erase the past. It simply stops it from controlling your future. Everyone has wounds, invisible ones. Maybe someone broke your trust. Maybe you failed publicly. Maybe you disappointed yourself. And for years, you carried those memories like stones in your pocket. Every new opportunity felt heavier because of what happened before. But the truth is, The pain you refuse to face becomes the cage you live in. You can't move forward while you're still punishing yourself for what's behind you. Healing begins when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can this teach me?" Pain becomes lighter when it has meaning. Maybe the heartbreak taught you empathy. Maybe the failure gave you wisdom. Maybe the mistake revealed your strength. If you look closely, every dark moment hides a small seed of power. You don't need to love what happened, but you can respect what it made you become. Forgiveness is the strongest tool of healing, not for others, but for yourself. When you forgive, you are not saying, "It was okay." You are saying, "It no longer controls me." Anger may feel powerful, but it quietly drains you. Forgiveness, on the other hand, frees you to use your energy on growth instead of revenge. To heal, you must also forgive yourself. You did things in the past that you regret. You hurt people, or maybe you simply wasted time. But guilt doesn't change the past, it only repeats it. When you say, "I forgive myself," you open space for new behavior. You stop being the jailer of your own mistakes. Self-forgiveness is not weakness, it's responsibility with kindness. Healing is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel free, and other days, an old memory will sting again. Don't panic when that happens. It's part of the process. The wound is closing, not reopening. The more you let yourself feel, the less control those feelings have over you. Silence is not peace, it's pressure. Real peace comes when you allow emotions to move through you without fear. You can help this process through small rituals, journaling your thoughts, sitting quietly with your feelings instead of escaping them, walking outside without your phone, breathing slowly until the storm inside softens. Healing loves stillness. It grows in honesty and time. Remember, your past is not a sentence. It's a lesson. It doesn't define you. It refines you. Everything you've experienced, the joy, the pain, the loss, has shaped your depth. And that depth is your greatest power. You don't need to erase your scars. They are proof that you survived. When the past finally stops screaming, the present starts whispering. You'll hear your real self again, calm, clear, and ready to rise. That's when you understand. Healing isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of who you were meant to be all along. After you begin to heal your past, the next step is learning how to manage your emotions in the present. This skill is called emotional intelligence, and it's one of the strongest signs of real maturity. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about understanding them, what they mean, where they come from, and how to use them wisely instead of letting them use you. Every emotion has a purpose. Anger shows your boundaries have been crossed. Fear warns you about danger or prepares you for courage. Sadness tells you something important has changed. Even jealousy can point you toward what you truly desire. When you start listening to your emotions instead of fighting them, they stop being enemies and become guides. People with high emotional intelligence don't avoid feelings, they translate them. When anger rises, they pause before reacting. They ask, "What is this emotion trying to tell me?" That short pause is powerful. It turns reaction into response, chaos into control. That's how calm people stay calm, not because they feel less, but because they understand more. The key to emotional mastery is awareness. Most people live like emotional mirrors. If someone shouts, they shout back. If someone ignores them, they feel invisible. They let others decide their mood. But once you become aware, you take your power back. You start noticing the moment emotions appear, a fast heartbeat, a sudden thought, a change in tone. You breathe. You observe. You choose. That single breath separates the old you from the new one. Emotional intelligence also means empathy, the ability to feel what others feel without losing yourself in it. When you understand your own emotions, you naturally understand others better. You start seeing pain behind anger, fear behind pride, confusion behind silence. This makes you wiser in relationships, gentler in conversations, and stronger in conflicts. Developing this skill requires practice. Whenever you feel something intense, anger, sadness, anxiety, try naming it out loud or in your head. This is anger. This is fear. Naming an emotion is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see what's inside and decide what to do with it. Another tool is emotional detachment, not coldness, but balance. You remind yourself that emotions are weather, not climate. They come and go. No storm lasts forever. You don't need to fight every thought. You just need to wait until it passes. When you stop chasing or resisting emotions, they begin to move naturally, and your mind becomes a calm ocean instead of a violent sea. Emotionally intelligent people also take responsibility for their energy. They don't dump negativity on others. They don't use anger as power. They understand that true strength is gentle. They speak firmly but kindly. They know that peace is not weakness. It's control in disguise. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you'll never feel pain again. It means pain won't break you. It means when others lose balance, you stay grounded. It means your happiness no longer depends on what happens, but on how you interpret what happens. That's real power, quiet, deep, and unshakable. When you reach this point, life stops being a constant fight. You stop being pulled by every wave and start sailing your own direction. You begin to live from the inside out. The world outside can change, people can disappoint you, circumstances can challenge you, but your center remains still. And from that stillness, you can build anything. Once your emotions become calm, your mind becomes ready for the next challenge. Focus. In today's world, distraction is the new addiction. Everyone is busy, but few are clear. We scroll, switch, react, consume, and call it progress. But without focus, effort means nothing. A scattered mind cannot build a meaningful life. Focus is not just attention, it's direction. It's your ability to say, "This is important," and then guard it like treasure. Clarity means knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. The truth is, your time is not stolen by others. It's leaked through endless tiny distractions. Each time you check your phone, argue online, or replay old memories, you lose a piece of presence. You don't need more hours. You need more clarity. Imagine your mind as a room filled with voices. One says, "Work harder." Another says, "Rest." Another whispers, "You're not enough." Focus is choosing which voice to listen to. You can't silence them all, but you can lead them. You say, "This thought serves me. The others can wait." That's mental leadership. Clarity begins with simplicity. Look at your life and ask, what truly matters to me? Not what others expect, not what looks good online, but what gives meaning to my days. Maybe it's building your skills, creating something, or simply becoming peaceful. Once you know that, everything else becomes noise. You stop chasing everything and start mastering something. The mind loves direction. Without it, it wanders. That's why purpose creates peace. When you know where you're going, even chaos feels manageable. When you don't, even rest feels restless. You wake up tired, not because you work too hard, but because your mind has been running in circles. Focus gives your energy a home. Protecting focus also means protecting your environment. You can't stay clear if you live in constant noise, mental or digital. Declutter your space. Turn off notifications. Spend time in silence. Give your brain room to breathe. In stillness, ideas appear. Clarity doesn't shout, it whispers. You hear it only when you're quiet enough to listen. Focus is like sunlight. When it's spread across the sky, it warms. But when you direct it through a lens, it burns. That burning point, that sharp attention, can change your entire life. If you want to grow, choose fewer goals, but pursue them with full intensity. Doing 10 things halfway will never give you the satisfaction of doing one thing completely. You don't need to rush. The best results come from sustained focus, not speed. Think of a river, slow, consistent, cutting through stone. That's how mastery works. You return again and again to the same craft, the same habit, the same vision until it shapes you. Mental clarity also means learning to say no. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something important. You can't do everything, and you shouldn't. Saying no is not rejection, it's respect for your time and peace. People who achieve extraordinary results are not superhuman. They're simply selective. As your focus strengthens, your mind becomes lighter. You start finishing things. You stop doubting every step. You realize that most confusion is not from lack of ability, but from too many directions. The moment you choose one clear path, half your stress disappears. When your mind is focused and clear, you stop chasing every noise outside and start listening to the quiet truth inside. That's where creativity lives. That's where vision begins. And from that place, your next transformation can finally take form. Once your mind is clear, you're ready to look deeper, beyond goals, beyond habits, into the heart of everything, purpose. Purpose is what gives meaning to your effort. It's the quiet answer to the question, why am I doing this? Without it, even success feels empty. With it, even struggle feels sacred. Most people drift because they never stop to ask that question. They chase money, approval, or comfort, and when they finally reach them, they feel strangely hollow. That's because goals can fill your schedule, but only purpose can fill your soul. You need something larger than comfort, something worth waking up for even when life gets hard. Purpose is not always dramatic. It doesn't mean you have to change the world. Sometimes it simply means doing what you do with love, with intention, and with truth. A teacher's purpose might be to awaken curiosity. A builder's purpose might be to create safety. A student's purpose might be to grow. Your purpose lives in the effect you create, not the attention you receive. To discover it, look at 3 questions. What makes you feel alive? What pain do you want to solve, in yourself or in others? What would you still do if nobody clapped? Your answers will reveal the direction your soul is already pointing. Purpose is not invented, it's remembered. It has been waiting under the noise of doubt and comparison for you to listen. Once you find it, you must give it shape. That's vision. Purpose is your why. Vision is your where. Vision turns feeling into direction. It's the picture of your ideal life, detailed and vivid. Not just a dream, but a plan made of emotion and clarity. Without vision, purpose stays asleep. Without purpose, vision loses meaning. Together, they create momentum. When you have both, you stop needing external motivation. You no longer ask, what should I do today? Because the answer is already inside. Purpose becomes your compass. Vision becomes your map. Even when you get lost, you don't panic. You just adjust the route. You're not running randomly anymore. You're traveling consciously. There will be days when your vision feels far, when progress seems invisible. Those are the days to remember that purpose is not about results. It's about direction. Even if you move 1 inch toward it, you're still winning. You're still alive in motion. Purpose is not measured in speed, it's measured in consistency. Don't expect others to always understand your path. Most people are too busy doubting their own. Some will call you unrealistic. Others will say you've changed. Smile at both. You're not supposed to live their story. You're supposed to live yours. And here's something powerful. Purpose doesn't remove pain. It gives it meaning. When you have a reason strong enough, every obstacle becomes fuel. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. That's when strength turns into serenity. You'll know you've found your purpose when work stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like expression. When your days, even the hard ones, feel aligned with something greater than comfort. When your heart whispers, this is right. Purpose doesn't need perfection. It only needs honesty. The more you live by it, the clearer your life becomes. And once you live with purpose, everything else, discipline, focus, habits, peace, starts to connect. That's when your life begins to move as one whole force instead of scattered pieces. Purpose gives direction, but the road to it is never smooth. There will be days when everything breaks, plans fail, people disappoint, confidence fades. You'll question your path and wonder if it's all worth it. That's where resilience enters. Resilience is not about never falling. It's about never staying down. It's the art of rebuilding yourself each time the world pushes you to the ground. Life will test you. It will test your patience, your discipline, your hope. It will throw noise, rejection, and delay at you. And when that happens, remember, you are not being punished, you are being prepared. Every challenge shapes your strength the way fire shapes steel. Without the heat, steel stays soft. Without resistance, you never discover your depth. Resilience begins with acceptance. Instead of saying, this shouldn't happen, say, this is part of the process. That small shift changes pain into power. You stop wasting energy fighting reality and start using that energy to respond. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means facing life as it is, not how you wish it were, and moving forward anyway. Think of a mountain climber. Every fall teaches them balance. Every storm teaches them patience. They don't curse the climb. They learn its rhythm. Resilient people do the same. They treat every difficulty as data, every failure as feedback. They know that the worst day can hide the most important lesson. The secret to resilience is flexibility. Rigid people break easily. Flexible people bend and return stronger. When plans collapse, they adapt. When doors close, they look for windows. They don't see setbacks as endings, but as adjustments. You can train this mindset every time something goes wrong. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what now? The first question traps you in pain. The second pulls you into action. Another part of resilience is patience. Growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like silence, waiting, or uncertainty. But the seed doesn't stop growing just because it's underground. The same happens with you. While nothing seems to move, your inner roots are getting stronger. Resilience is trusting that hidden growth even when the surface looks still. Resilient people also take care of their energy. They rest, but they don't quit. They cry, but they don't stop. They know recovery is part of strength, not a sign of weakness. You can't fight every day without breathing. Real power comes from rhythm. Push, pause, rebuild, and then push again. One day you'll look back and realize the moments that hurt you most were the moments that shaped you most. The failures that made you doubt yourself were actually sharpening your vision. The betrayals that broke your heart taught you boundaries. The pain you thought would destroy you built your depth. Resilience is life's hidden curriculum, the lessons you can't read, only live. When you master resilience, you stop fearing storms. You start respecting them. You know that every fall is temporary, every wound heals, and every ending is the beginning of another version of you. That belief alone makes you unstoppable because nothing outside can defeat a person who refuses to stay broken inside. Resilience doesn't make life easy. It makes you capable. It turns uncertainty into opportunity and loss into evolution. And as your strength hardens quietly, your confidence becomes silent but unshakable, the kind that says, "I've been through worse, and I'm still here." No matter how strong, disciplined, or focused you become, your environment still shapes you. And the most powerful part of that environment is people. Relationships are not just connections, they are exchanges of energy. Every person you let close either feeds your growth or drains it. To become your best self, you must learn how to give love without losing strength, and how to protect your peace without closing your heart. We often underestimate how much energy we absorb from others. Spend 1 hour with someone negative and you feel heavy. Spend 10 minutes with someone hopeful and you feel alive again. It's not magic, it's vibration. Words, tone, attitude, all of it affects your mental space. That's why choosing your circle is one of the most important decisions of your life. Healthy relationships don't demand perfection. They encourage progress. The right people don't compete with you. They celebrate your wins and hold you accountable when you forget your potential. They speak truth even when it's uncomfortable. If you have even one person like that, protect them, value them, and learn to be that person for others too. But growth also means learning to set boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks. They let in what nourishes you and block what harms you. Saying no doesn't make you rude. It makes you clear. You are not responsible for everyone's emotions. You are responsible for your energy. When you constantly say yes to please others, you quietly say no to yourself. Boundaries are not about rejection. They are about direction. You're choosing where your time, love, and attention go. When you protect your boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. People who truly respect you will understand. The ones who don't were never meant to stay. And then, there's forgiveness again, a key that keeps relationships from turning into prisons. You will be hurt, misunderstood, sometimes even betrayed. That's part of being human. But don't let pain make you cold. Forgive not to forget, but to free yourself. Let people go without turning bitter. Some relationships end not because of failure, but because growth moved you in different directions. That's not loss. That's alignment. Remember that love, friendship, and respect all follow the same law. You attract what you are ready for. If you are insecure, you'll tolerate chaos. If you are peaceful, you'll attract peace. The energy you carry teaches others how to behave around you. So instead of chasing approval, work on raising your energy. High energy creates high-quality connections naturally. Communication is the bridge that keeps relationships alive. Speak honestly, but gently. Listen more than you talk. Most people don't want to win arguments. They want to feel understood. When you give people that feeling, even difficult conversations become safe. And never forget, relationships are mirrors. The way you love others often reflects the way you love yourself. If you give too much, maybe you're afraid of being alone. If you shut down, maybe you don't trust your worth. Every connection can teach you something about yourself. Learn, adjust, and grow. When you master the balance, open heart, strong boundaries, relationships stop draining you. They start fueling you. You begin to share peace instead of pain. And when two people meet from that place of self-respect and clarity, something beautiful happens. Love becomes not a need, but a gift. After you learn how to protect your energy and connect with people from strength, the next step is mastering peace. Not the kind that depends on silence or safety, but the kind that stays calm even when the world is loud. Inner peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of clarity inside them. It's a quiet confidence that says, no matter what happens, I can return to myself. The truth is, peace isn't found in new places. It's found in new awareness. Most people search for peace outside, in travel, success, relationships, distractions, but the mind that runs away stays restless everywhere. The only way to find peace is to stop running. You must learn to sit with yourself without noise, without performance, without trying to fix every feeling. Stillness is not emptiness. It's space. The space where your thoughts slow down enough for wisdom to appear. Your intuition, your clarity, your calm voice, they all live under the surface of constant thinking. You don't need to meditate perfectly or escape to mountains to touch stillness. You just need small pauses, moments of no input, no scrolling, no reacting. Even 5 minutes of silence a day can begin to change your nervous system, your focus, and your entire way of being. Peace also comes from acceptance. The world will never be completely fair or predictable. If you fight that truth, you stay exhausted. If you accept it, you find balance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means stopping the war inside your own mind. When you stop demanding that life be easy, you discover you can handle it as it is. Presence is peace in motion. It means being fully where you are. When you eat, you taste. When you talk, you listen. When you walk, you feel the ground. The opposite of presence is distraction, living half here and half somewhere else in your thoughts. The more you practice being fully here, the less anxious you feel about there. Life begins to slow down in the best way. Colors look brighter, conversations feel deeper, and time stops rushing past you. Peace is also about trust. Trusting that what's meant for you won't miss you, and what's not meant for you will pass no matter how tightly you hold it. This trust doesn't come from blind faith. It comes from experience. You've survived every bad day so far. You've rebuilt yourself after loss, disappointment, and fear. That means you can trust your strength. You can rest in it. Sometimes peace looks like doing nothing, and that's okay. In a world that worships constant motion, resting can feel rebellious. But remember, even the strongest waves return to still water. Rest is not weakness. It's recalibration. It's how your soul recharges before the next chapter. Inner peace doesn't mean you'll never get angry, sad, or stressed again. It means those emotions will no longer own you. You'll watch them arrive, feel them, and let them go, just like clouds passing across the sky. Your sky, your true self, stays vast and clear underneath. When you begin to live this way, peace becomes your default, not your destination. It becomes your baseline, the quiet power beneath everything you do. And from that center, you can start creating not just a life that looks good, but a life that feels free. When you finally reach a place of inner peace, a new question appears. What will I do with all this growth? Because true transformation doesn't end with you. It expands through you. The best version of yourself is not just stronger, calmer, and wiser. It's also generous. It turns personal evolution into contribution. Growth becomes meaningful only when it helps something beyond your own comfort. Contribution doesn't always mean money, fame, or saving the world. It can be as simple as sharing kindness, teaching what you've learned, or being the calm presence that others need. Every time you make someone feel understood, every time you give without expecting anything back, you are shaping your legacy. Legacy isn't built in monuments. It's built in moments. Think about the people who changed your life. Most of them probably didn't do anything dramatic. Maybe they said one honest sentence when you needed clarity. Maybe they believed in you when you doubted yourself. Maybe they just showed kindness when you expected judgment. That's impact. Invisible but unforgettable. You can be that person for someone else. Giving doesn't make you weak. It makes you abundant. When you share what you've gained, your lessons, your time, your energy, you remind yourself that you already have enough. Scarcity says, I need to hold on. Growth says, I have enough to give. That's real wealth, not measured in numbers, but in meaning. There's a quiet shift that happens when you start to contribute. You stop asking, what do I get? And start asking, what can I give? That question alone can heal ego, fear, and loneliness. Because the more you give, the more connected you feel. Service creates belonging. It ties you to something greater than your own story. Contribution also deepens learning. When you teach others, you understand your lessons more clearly. When you help someone heal, your own healing deepens. Growth shared is growth multiplied. The energy you send out returns stronger because generosity trains your brain to focus on abundance, not lack. Legacy is not about being remembered by everyone. It's about being remembered by the right ones, the ones whose lives you touched, whose paths you made lighter. Legacy is not measured by years, it's measured by impact. It's not about how long people speak your name, but how deeply they feel your presence, even when you're not there. And remember, contribution doesn't require perfection. You don't need to have everything figured out to inspire others. You just need to be honest about your journey. Share your truth. Admit your mistakes. Let people see your humanity. Because what helps others most is not your image of strength, but your example of perseverance. You are already leaving a legacy with every message you send, every choice you make, every emotion you spread. The question is not whether you'll leave one, but what kind. Will your energy make people feel safe or small, encouraged or empty? Choose carefully, because the world reflects what you radiate. When your growth starts to serve others, your life expands beyond survival. You start to see meaning everywhere, in work, in silence, in connection. You realize your purpose was never just about you. It was about what you could give through you. And that's when your story transforms from personal success to shared significance. And now, we arrive at the truth that has been waiting beneath every step. The real meaning of becoming your best self. It was never about chasing perfection. It was about returning to your essence, the calm, strong, kind, and conscious version of you that was always there, hidden under fear, noise, and doubt. Transformation is not becoming someone new. It's remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. You've walked through responsibility, discipline, healing, purpose, resilience, peace, and contribution. You've met the sides of yourself that you used to avoid, the insecure, the tired, the uncertain, and you didn't reject them this time. You faced them with understanding. That's growth. Becoming your best self doesn't mean erasing your flaws. It means embracing them as part of your story. It means learning to carry both your light and your shadow with grace. The best version of you is not the one that smiles all the time. It's the one that stays kind when things go wrong. It's the one that listens before reacting, forgives without forgetting the lesson, and keeps walking even when the road disappears. It's the one that chooses clarity over chaos, truth over comfort, and courage over fear. That version already exists inside you. Every small act of honesty, every quiet moment of effort, Every brave decision has been building it silently. Becoming your best self is not a finish line. It's a daily rhythm, growth, fall, reflection, rise. Again and again. You will never be done, and that's the beauty of it. Life keeps expanding because you keep expanding. Each day brings a new layer, a deeper understanding, a higher version. You are both the artist and the art, shaping yourself, refining your character, learning how to live awake. But here's the secret most people miss. The highest version of you is also the simplest one. It's not defined by titles, wealth, or praise. It's defined by inner stability, by how gently you treat yourself and others, by how deeply you pay attention. True power is quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself. It just moves through life with purpose and peace. When you live like that, everything changes. You stop rushing. You stop comparing. You start creating. You start feeling gratitude for small things, sunlight on your face, laughter with someone you love, silence after a long day. You stop waiting for the future to make you happy because you finally understand. Happiness was never later. It was always here, inside presence. The best version of you doesn't chase. It attracts. It doesn't beg for love. It becomes love. It doesn't need control. It trusts. You stop seeing life as something to win and start seeing it as something to experience fully, with awareness, with grace, with heart. And if you're listening to these words now, remember this. You're already on the path. Every moment of honesty, every small act of self-improvement, every choice to keep going is proof that you're evolving. You may not see it yet, but you are becoming the person your younger self needed and your future self will thank. So stand tall, breathe deeply, and whisper to yourself, I am not done. I am becoming. Let that sentence live inside you like a quiet flame. Protect it. Feed it. Let it guide you through every challenge and every joy that comes next. Because this isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of your real life. And as you walk forward, remember these final words. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. You are not behind. You are right on time. You are not small. You are limitless. I am proud of you. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep becoming. And if this message touched your heart, stay with us, because this is more than English. This is evolution. Welcome to the next version of you.